Good morning, everyone. So half of what we know today in science is already wrong. The purpose of science is to prove which half is wrong. Right, so I'm going to declare my conflict of interest, that I am Dr. Samir Contractor. I am obesity surgeon. I see sick people every day. I am a vegetarian. I avoid cereals and grains on a daily basis. But being a vegetarian, I have to supplement my plant-based diet with meat, eggs, chicken, fish, and dairy to be healthy. Why are we discussing this problem is because 50 years ago in America, 1 out of every 9 Americans were obese. Today, 1 in every 3rd American is obese, while 2 out of every 3 people in America are overweight. I'm sure India will overtake America in the next 20 years. So obesity is just not that major problem by itself, but what it brings along with is this metabolic syndrome, which accounts for 75% of the healthcare cost. And this includes type 2 diabetes, hypertension, lipid abnormalities, cardiovascular disease, NAFLD, which is fatty liver, PCOD, that is one of the leading causes of infertility in young females, all types of cancers, dementia, and dental caries. I forgot to add that. And how are we managing this today? With medication. So all dietary problems are being treated with medication today. And the result is 60% of Americans are on some type of prescription drugs. I don't have the Indian figures, but I think it's somewhere close to that. So why are we all getting fat? So WHO and other health authorities are telling us to believe that it is because of energy imbalance, that energy consumed should be equal to energy expended, right? So if you are eating more than what you can spend or by exercising, then you will gain weight. This is famously known as calorie theory. So according to this theory, if you eat too much or you exercise too little, you end up having obesity. And what decides these two things is personal choice and personal behavior. So this concept led to an entire new field of behavioral science in 80s, and it is growing ever since. So what happened was the entire science of obesity got caught up in a circular logic of calories in, that is eating too much, or calories out hypothesis, that is exercising too little, and it's never been able to escape, and that is why we are all suffering. So public health authorities want us to practice energy balance, which is a new way to say that you shouldn't take in more calories than you expend. So you count your calories that you're expending, Fitbits, and then you make your food accordingly. But the point is, nobody can match calories in and calories out with that kind of precision, no matter how good you are at counting it. If over and above that, if energy balance or imbalance is the reason for obesity, then the question isn't why do some of us get fat, the question is why don't all of us get fat, right? If that theory is so true. Surprisingly, an alternative hypothesis already existed before WHO came up with calorie in and calorie out hypothesis. The obesity is disorder of excess fat accumulation. And what is responsible for that is hormones. Insulin is the main hormone. There are other hormones like cortisol, and there are various other hormones which are insignificant for this talk. So if you have high insulin levels in your body, you tend to become obese. And because of obesity, you either eat too much or you exercise too little. It's the other way around. And what determines your high insulin levels? high protein diet and supplements that everybody is taking today, thinking that it is a healthy option, fattening carbohydrates, all the junk food, wheat, refined grains, everything made with flour, and high fructose corn syrup, again present in almost all the industry food that you get on the shelf. So we do not get fat because we overeat. Remember, we overeat because we get fat. This is the original food pyramid that our ancestors used, right? So the pyramid did not exist before that, but I just tried to put in the food items into this pyramid to make you understand. And this is what we have done to this food pyramid. You can see the bottom half is all carbs, carbs, and carbs. There is an interesting book called Death by Food Pyramid by Dennis Minga, and it's an interesting read. It tells you how the food pyramid is responsible for modern diseases. Even more astonishing is the choose my plate concept by the 2011 Obama government administration. There was a gentleman called Dr. Keyes. His great nutritional crime of the 60s was inadvertent triumph of nutritionism, a new religion, where we discuss, instead of discussing food, the actual food, we discuss about protein and carbs. Most of you agree to me for that. So we pretend that all carbs are equal, all proteins are equal, and all fat are equal. But the truth is, we should be talking about individual food items rather than its nutrients. And the most surprising point in this, which I think most of you will fail to notice, is they have completely omitted fat, which is atrocious. Dairy has already been removed from this plate. If racism is a crime against humanity, then nutritionism is a crime against human health. And that's what we are doing. So let me explain to you further what do we mean by food. See, fire can burn any fuel. And if you compare the three different types of wood with our three nutrients, that is fat, protein, and carbs. So now we need to decide how often we need to get up and put fuel in the fire. So if you eat a lot of fat, you need not feel hungry that much, and your frequent eating will stop. But if you are on a carb diet, you have to get up frequently and eat. So eating 3 meals, 5 meals a day. To further evaluate, for everyone, food is fat, protein, and carbs, but it is incomplete without vital ingredients like vitamins and minerals, which are very essential to cater to each and every biochemical process in the body. PUFA has been added. What is PUFA? It's polyunsaturated fatty acid, that is refined vegetable oil. It has been added by industry, not nature, just over 100 years ago. It is so chemically highly unstable that it accumulates and builds up over time in the body like nuclear waste. These were the original food guidelines that you can see the big circle fat. So we were supposed to eat more fat, and that is what we evolved to eat. Moderate protein and low carbs, as low carbs as possible. And of course, vitamins and minerals come along with healthy natural food. So what has happened is, we have reduced the healthy fat over the period of years, increased the amount of carbs, and the health authorities tell us to eat carbs mainly from cereals, sugar, and grains. They have even added PUFA, that is polyunsaturated fatty acids. How is this fared till today? It's an epic failure. We all know that. Look at the amount of diseases in the society, from diabetes, obesity, hypertension, cholesterol problem, uric acid problem, fatty liver, PCOS, skin diseases, autoimmune diseases, joint problems, dementia, Alzheimer's. So this is how we evolved, eating all natural food. Then came the dietary guidelines introduced in the 70s, almost 50 years ago. And this is what has happened. You all can see that. So we all know where we are today, but we definitely don't know where we will be tomorrow if we continue to eat the same way. So I have turned away from this food guidelines that health authorities have given me. The sooner you people turn around, understand what nature has given us, if you stick to that, you will have less problems. So why is all this confusion there? Because we are constantly exposed to information from various sources about food, about nutrition, about diet. And we all accept an idea very easily because it seems right to you, it makes sense to you, you understand that problem or that advice well, or because it is said by a person who you trust, or someone you know has got benefit from that. So that these are the various reasons why you accept an idea when you hear an idea. But none of that idea is true if it is not backed by solid scientific evidence. Over and above that, mass media, social networks tend to oversimplify and distort reality to the point of losing perspective by sensationalizing the headlines. However, nutritional science is very easy to understand. It's pure, simple, basic science. It's basically a grassroots affair. But it's the vested interest that makes it complicated. And that is what has happened over the last 50, 60 years. So somebody is making profit after the way you are eating. After the World War II, the political landscape of the world was changing. But there was a new war beginning between fat and sugar. The gentleman on the left, that is Ansel Keys, he came out with a theory that saturated fat and cholesterol leads to heart disease and is the sole reason for development of heart disease. While this gentleman called Dr. Yudkin, he favored the theory of sugar. What happened was saturated fat and cholesterol got vilified, and it came on Time magazine cover in 1984. So fat was accused of a crime that never ever happened. Fat has never been responsible for heart disease. So in 1961, the advice was reversed in 2014 by the same magazine, and they told that scientists were wrong about saturated fats. They don't cause heart disease after all. The same magazine retracted the statement of 1961. And what is the advice we follow in this low-fat era? It's frequent eating, because we avoid fat. Refined carbs constitute major portion of our diet, especially vegetarians. Healthy whole grains is the new age food for all. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. This is what we believed in because some food company told us to believe in. Heart-healthy fats were replaced by industrial refined oils. And we think fruits are miracle detoxifying food and we consume them every day. Majority try and drink milk till the end of their life. And vegetarians and vegans believe that their lifestyle is the healthiest one. But the science is not supporting all this. This is not my opinion, it's what is backed by scientific evidence. And how has the dietary guidelines that we all follow today fared till today? It's an absolute disaster. We all know it, I need not prove it. So when you consume this modern diet, this is what happens in your body, whether you know it or not. This is happening right now, with this very moment. And how does this modern medicine take care of it? It gives you symptomatic treatment. And it's just a reactive treatment by medication. So simple dietary management is replaced by something which is given by industry. Now let's come to physical exercise. Already so many things have been talked about exercise, the importance of exercise in the previous lectures. Now I will tell you how it is related to weight loss and obesity. The conventional view of obesity with regarding to exercise is that diet is 50%, exercise is 50%, so you should be dieting also and you should be exercising also to lose weight. But the actual truth is, diet has 95% role and exercise only 5% role. And we are giving more importance to exercise than diet. So doing an exercise or going for gym with a poor diet is more dangerous than actually not going for exercise. So this myth that diet, exercise is the key was believed, and it was a popular belief way back in 70s and 80s. And so in 1980s, there was an exercise boom, aerobics boom, gym flourished in all the cities of America to reduce obesity rates. We were late in catching up. We are actually having a flurry of gyms coming up in India in the last 15 years only. But instead of obesity rates going down, they are climbing up in epidemic proportions. Right? They are completely out of control. And why is exercise not helpful? Because it is not equal to total energy expenditure. 95% of your calories are used up for BMR, that is all body functions. Only 5% is calories are used for exercise. And if you crazily if you are doing more exercise, you can go up to 7-8%. And if you are absolutely crazy for exercise, then you can reach 10%. But if you try and go beyond 10%, I think you will not survive. So diet has 95% role and it deserves all the attention if you want to lose weight. And there has not a single study which has found between the correlation between activity and obesity. However, exercise has other health benefits, but weight loss is not one of them. So why is exercise a failure for weight loss? Because of the hidden truth. And what is this truth? Is compensation. The body compensates after you do exercise. And what is this compensation? To put it simply, it increases caloric intake after exercise. So you feel hungry after exercise, right? I need not explain to everyone because most of you might have experienced it. And decrease your non-exercise activity, right? I will explain to you this in a very simple way. Two small kids coming from school, one is active at home, other is not very active at home, right? The one which is active at home is probably not spending more time on the playing field. And the one who is less active at home just lays around at home. Parents tell them that my child is a lousy fellow. That, if you inquire, that small kid is actually playing more on the field. So he's tired and he's compensating. So exercise will never outrun a diet. This is an example of compensation, that you climb stairs or take elevators when you go to the gym. So when we all talk about ideal diet, see every speaker, they talked about the importance of diet. So when you search Google, it will not tell us much, right? But I can tell you one thing, that ancestral diet is going to be the one which is going to be healthy. I'll take 1 minute. The two important diets that are being recommended are the low carb, high protein, and low carb, high fat, right? Low carb, high protein is not healthy if you look at the science, while the low carb, high fat diet is very healthy. And why everyone went for low carb, high protein? Because fat got vilified. Everybody is afraid to eat fat. And even doctors are afraid of fat. But the common thing between the two is low carb. So you concentrate at least on that. That is going to give you benefit. So we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. We have to change our thinking to solve the problems. We have to look at it differently. So in conclusion, put everything in perspective, get evidence supporting it, and don't follow people who cannot explain or justify what he or she says or does. Until unless you find an evidence supporting it, don't follow it. Thank you.